Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CLSR. And I'm your host, the counselor. Now, we talked in part one about some strategies that were good for you, but we're going to keep on going on part two because this is really a great time for you to get a hold of your thinking. I said it, your thinking. See, a lot of the things that we were taught to believe, they have to change with the times. You can't have the old way of thinking, throwing money and hoping in an account it's going to turn into something. What? Shoot. That's not going to happen. You got to do a little bit of thinking. You got to do some work. You got to understand. You got to change it up. Just because you chase an idea doesn't mean it's going to turn into something. So you got to have some concrete plans and some thoughts, and you could do it. And we're going to work through it. See, that's why I'm talking to you today, because I'm excited. And I am excited, and I'm very excited because I think that there are opportunities. Matter of fact, I don't just think, I know. And I'm going to tell you how I know. All I know is, okay, let's think practical about this. What's going on right now? Some of you got some money. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you're a Canadian over here, you got some money because you've been doing something. If you live in the house, you got 3 or 4 people, and all you've been getting is some serve. Some of you ain't working, but you know what? This is a downside. There's a downside and there's a good side. I'll tell you a little bit about the downside. The downside is some of you aren't making as much money as you were when you were working. You think. So what I'm saying is, if you're not working because of being shut down, I feel bad for you, but I don't want you to get down on the dumps. If you're getting a little bit of money, I think it's time and it's an opportunity for not you, just everybody to run out there and start a business. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, think about if you had your job and you're making $3,000-$4,000 a month, okay? Even $3,000 a month. And now you're getting maybe served where you're getting $2,000. Now in the States it's a little different, but still it kind of still applies. So maybe you're not spending money on those lunches and the car trips and the insurance and all that stuff and these responsibilities of putting all the, but this time maybe you've kind of kept it in where you're not spending as much. You're not being out there whereas you're running into shops all the time and throwing and blowing money left, right, and center. So there's a good thing, whereas now you're starting to get a little bit of change, right? So the positive part is now you got a little bit of money. But the other downside is, what do you do with that money? And that's where I say we got some good things going on. And the reason why I'm saying is, like, imagine if you have a couple people in the house and they all been collected and they actually sit down and they say, look, we got to put this money together, but what are we going to do when we put this money together? Even if you have a couple. Well, the truth is think about this, people. I don't mean to capitalize on the COVID because I'm not trying to do that. But I got to think like those rich people think. I got to think in a down market, you buy low, sell high. Did you hear what I just said? I said buy low, sell high. And this is a great opportunity. Some of you are going, well, I barely got a little bit of money. You can make it work. You know, you got a job to get to that bank. Instead of going, well, you know what, I need a loan just to put this, look, put that loan to work. Put a percent to work. And I'm going to tell you how you do it and why you do it. Because, okay, so let's say, for example, we know about the vaccine. Thank goodness, because I think the last time, earlier in 2020, when I was talking to you, we never had the vaccine. So we couldn't see the rainbow, right? So we didn't know things were going to change. We were down in the dumps, down in the ditches, because we were like, my goodness, this virus is taking a hold. You know what I mean? It's like Godzilla in Hiroshima. It was kicking some butt. But my point is, now that we see that, hey, maybe there's a vaccine out there and there's a horizon over there. So, being that said, there's still a lot of great opportunity. And what I say is, there are planes that aren't flying, boats that aren't sailing, oil that's not being burned. You know what I mean? A lot of these major corporations and organizations have kind of slowed things down, so the stock has fallen, right? So this is a great opportunity, and they've fallen by 30-40%. And in history, when have you really made 30-40% on your money? Well, if you have some discipline, even if you have $5,000 or even a couple thousand or a couple hundred, start getting that money and you get into your bank, whatever, and you put it in a tax-free save and investment account and you buy those stocks. And you don't need to be a big brokerage. Think of the companies. So if you think of United States, what airline should you be putting your money in? And United, right? United Airlines, they're dropping out the ceiling. You know what I mean? Their stock is just down to nothing. These ones are struggling. Sure, it's going to take time, but put your money in these airlines because it's a matter of time. Now, how could you figure this out. Well, the airlines, okay, just check this out. Makes sense. A plus B equals C. So you got these cruise lines talk about, well, the pandemic's going to be kind of in control in 2022. So we've got a lot of bookings, right? We got a lot of people who are booking up these cruise lines and hotels and all that. They're doing that now. So they know they're going to prepare themselves. So these people are saying, listen, we might not have money now, these airlines and all these tourist industry, but we can see that it's coming because the vaccine. Once people get their vaccine and they're feeling good, they're going to go. They're going to travel. They're going to take care of some business. They're going to spend. We're designed to spend. Some of you don't even know you spend so much money, you're out of control. So what I'm saying is, these organizations are out there waiting. They know that there's something good going to happen. People are going to get back to it. But right now, they're not. So this is a great time. So what do? You're like, well, counselor, it doesn't make sense for me to be investing in an airline that's falling down. Well, listen, if they've fallen down about 40%, think about it. You put your money in when they're on the low side because eventually they have to get back. Where are these people going to get on these cruise ships from? They got to take the plane from other states or other countries. So they're going to be jumping on them planes to get there once they get their shot. There's so many instances where you can think of how it's going to benefit these organizations and how it could benefit. Because once that stock goes up, your money goes up. And you let it ride in that compound interest over time. And once you start making money, you got assets, then you can start loaning money to invest more. And you know what? You just take opportunities now. And there's people who are in the restaurant business. They are struggling, but not all of them. Some of them are saying, okay, look, I'm putting things on pause. But I know people want to be out there. People are dying to get out there and communicate. People are breaking rules. There's people out there right now in society where they're getting out there and getting them tickets because they got to be in public, right? So that says we have this need to get together on some level. And I know everybody's talking about, well, the work environment has really changed. People are going to be sitting at home, and it's different because they can do the online communication. Listen, yes, that is for sure. But you could also listen to some information out there that it's not good to be in the house all the time. People, there's a great segment that want to get out there, be around people, get that fresh air. So they're dying. This is some pent up energy. So start thinking about that, okay? Think about the organizations that have been around, ones that are maybe down right now, but they're going to grow as people get out there, and they start becoming active participants. See, the only way that this economy, any economy, is going to grow is if we get the money in the economy, not people saving it to keep it in their pockets. So the government's going to do whatever it can. It's going to give you some loans. So sit back and relax and wait for them. Start a business. They might give you, see, if the government's saying, oh, we're going to give you $20,000 to start a small business loan, and you're sitting up there going, well, I'm waiting for my job to come back, and maybe in a month I'll get back to work. Well, what you should do is you should be saying, wait, let me start and register a business for $80. And, I could be out there advertising, but because you got me on lockdown, I'm going to apply for that loan. And you might think might not work, but it will work. You'll get that money, but put it to good use, right? You could start something your own. You could do something online, or you could, start some delivery. Get your shot. Get your shot. And I don't mean just the vaccine shot. Get your shot at taking care of your business and being your own person and taking advantage of some of these organizations that might have fallen down. Because there's some of those big organizations. See, this is a reset even for them. They've had these locked in leases, right? So they're going into bankruptcy. Some of these clothing lines, these stores, that could be good for you. It could be good for you to get in there and say, wait, instead of me dealing with these organizations, let me cut out the middleman and go straight to these countries that need the work, that could get me these products. Or maybe I could start it in my country where maybe I could get people to do certain things here. Because one of the big issues, too, is people getting items on time. You could order. Now, there's organizations that are quite efficient, but how many of you are tired of ordering things and it ain't coming for 4 or 5 weeks? There's only a couple companies that really got that thing down to a science. You see Amazon buying more planes. Good investment. Good investment. A lot of people say, well, I don't have $3,000, $4,000. You don't need it. There's companies out there where you could buy a portion of a share. So let's say Amazon, let's say it's $2,000, and you're like, I don't have $2,000. Go find a company that you could buy a portion of that share for even $300. Now, if Amazon, for example, goes to $2,500, your $300 might turn into $400. See, you're still making gains. It might even be $350, but you're making gains, whereas your money's still making money. You dig what I'm saying? So it's not all or nothing, and that's what we have to get away from, that all or nothing. Oh, I can't do it. You got to start thinking there's opportunities. Yes, there's always going to be despair out there. Did you hear what I just said? There's always going to be despair out there. But you can do a lot of things. You don't necessarily need to get rich, but you can build your wealth. You can build wealth of your knowledge. Well, you're sitting at home and you're just sitting at home watching TVs, playing video games. Are you going, hey, let me read a book on my financial literacy. Let me understand a little bit about what's going to happen to me during retirement. Right? What's going to happen? Some of you don't even know. You're hoping that this retirement money's going to get you. But there's a lot of people scaring you into, well, your money's not going to be there. It's not that it's necessarily not going to be there. But the truth is, let's say you want to live the lifestyle that you're living, and then you come to find out, well, wait, I haven't even talked to my pension company to find out my pension investment, what is going to happen? Or am I just guessing? Am I waiting? Or, do I have to wait for them? You might have $500,000 in your pension, but if they're only doling out $2,500 a month, like that money, you ain't gonna live to see that money. So what you gonna have at your disposal? And what's the prices of homes and taxes gonna be in 30 years? Like all these things you gotta pay attention to. So what I'm saying is, look into your situation, sit home, do a little bit of work on yourself. You could go online, YouTube it. Find out about basic pension money or your investment or what is working, what's not working. You know what I mean? Do a little bit of work. If you don't like reading books, get a little video. There's people out there all the time because they want to get money off of these YouTube. So they're coming with some education. It's competitive. It's a great thing. But don't just use it to watch videos. Use it to educate yourself a little bit. Some of you are out there paying thousands of dollars for these courses because you're like, you know what? I'm going to spend thousands of dollars on this course, and hopefully I can get out there and get something, with this certificate. Yes, there's ones that will do that, but there's ones who will go, wait, if I can get it started in here, you know what I mean? Online could be the future, but if I can get started education-wise on spending a couple $100 and learn just as much and actually practice and get involved and help rebuild some of these organizations or be an active participant, have my money so some of these organizations that need funding, I can help supply some of that. Or I can apply for small business. There's so many things that you can do, while you're sitting at home as opposed to feeling sorry for yourself. So learn a little bit, and there's all kinds of things you might want to do. But wealth isn't just financial wealth. It's freedom wealth and wealthy thinking about taking care, thinking about life insurance different the way we used to. See, a lot of us are emotionally attached to, I can't get life insurance. That person, what's the benefit? I can't put life insurance on a family member. What are these people who have wealth? What are they doing? They create intergenerational wealth. I said intergenerational wealth because there's certain things that they do that we don't do. Right? There's certain things that they're not afraid of. They understand, and it's not because they had the wealth. See, it's one thing to have the wealth or to make the money. So you can have the money. But see, the counselors is coming out with the book. It's called The Business Blueprint. And the reason why I want to come out with this because I want people to understand that when it comes to money, there's people that make it. You've heard people making it. But you got to make the money, right? But then you got to manage the money. And you're going to need a mentor, right? So that you understand if you want to maintain it. You got to maintain that money, right? And you also need to know about the media side and how that works. Do you understand? And you also need to know about motivation. So when this book comes out, which is going to be soon, because I really believe that you got to know about the making of the money, right? The managing the money, the mentoring, right? And the maintenance. Do you understand? And the media and the motivation and the multiplying. how are you going to multiply, use that money to make more money? So once you understand it, it's very practical. Okay, what a lot of people tell you today is, oh, you can get rich quick. And I'm so tired of hearing somebody tell me, oh, you know what? Give me a little bit of this and I'll make you that. No, that's what happens. You put a little bit of money out there. Next thing you know, somebody's tapping into your credit card. You thought you spent $29, and none of them are trustworthy. You know those schemes that they got out there. And I'm not being pessimistic. I'm being optimistic. Think about it, right? This is what's really scary is that the moment you put your information out there and people are snatching onto it, right? So if you don't give it to them, don't expect something for nothing. Get away from that thinking. Or I'm not saying don't do it, but make sure you're with it. Make sure those people you're actually working with them, not just on the phone, somebody convincing you to give. Just sign up here, and next thing you know, boom, everything takes work. Just keep that in mind. Just know that when you start giving out your credit card, next thing you know, somebody's saying 29, and next thing you know, it's 69, and then 129, and then you got to go back and trace that money. This is one of the biggest challenges out there. One of the biggest challenges in 2021 is when you put something out there, try to get it back. That's almost rule number one for all these organizations. Don't give it back. Find ways. Think about Facebook, think about Amazon, think about Alibaba, think about all these places. You go out there and you order stuff, and when you try to find out what happened to your order, or you try to call somebody to say, hey, listen, somebody took my money, or if you go to Wix.com, and Wix.com, I don't know, but I'll tell you right now, that thing, a lot of people could say a lot of good things about it, but I'll tell you right now, Wix.com, try and get a hold of their people. When it comes to building a website, somebody took over. I had an experience, and I'm going to give it to you real. Set up a website. Somebody turned around and took over that website. And then when I tried to call Wix on it, right, good try. Try to get a hold of someone. They don't respond, and they're not unlike many organizations. So when I say, when you put your stuff out there, be cautious. Make sure they're reputable and you're working with them. Okay, and you make sure that you know you're controlling your stuff and put stops on your stuff. That's what you got to do. You got to say to your companies, when you got credit cards and that, don't leave it open. You let them know. Call them up. Say, hey, look, I'm putting this money down. I want to make sure it doesn't go past this amount. Right? And I'm serious. That's what a lot of people don't do. When you got something, if you know you register for $50 a month, let's say you have a Shopify account and you're paying $50. Call your credit card company and say, look, I got this $50 a month going through Shopify. That's it. Don't try to get past that $50. Do you understand? If somebody tries to do that, you better contact me or don't do it. Do you understand? You really got to control what's going out you, what's flowing that way. Because I told you, a lot of our wealth is what we're giving away. We don't even know it. Try tracking people down. You might have $2,000-$3,000 that somebody went on your credit card or whatever. Try to go to court and figure, man, you're going to waste your time. And time is money. I told you, the one thing that a lot of you have that billionaires don't have is time. So you could do a lot of good things, but if somebody's wasting your time and you're sitting up there for $2,000-$3,000 crying about this, a lot of people say, there's people that will be credit card companies. They know there's so many people out there scamming and taking all this stuff from you or getting into your accounts. It ain't even like it was 10 years ago. Now these organizations like skip it. I ain't going to spend no time in court, half of them. Not for a couple $1,000s. They'll be like, oh yeah, don't worry, we'll reimburse you. We'll claim it. You know what I mean? We don't care. We don't even complain about it. We're like, oh, we got our money back? Thank you. You understand? We ain't even thinking about that. We're not thinking about our security. And when somebody takes your security, oh, our apologies. What are you going to do? Go to court and spend $100,000 to tell them that you took... This is commonplace. That's why I say trying to get a hold of these organizations is terrible. And they do it purposely. They make it hard. Or they lie. You know what I mean? They lie. Or they'll advertise on your podcast. And they'll lie to you and say, oh, you gave permission when you didn't. And you go back there and try and prove it. Lies everywhere. That's why I said you got to be careful. Try to manage things, but make people accountable. Right? Seriously, that's a big thing. Accountability and honesty, it's going out the window. And we got to get in touch. Like, even that cryptocurrency. Everybody's about that cryptocurrency. Oh, you got to get Bitcoin. And yes, maybe Bitcoin might be worth $100,000. And maybe cryptocurrency's on its way. But how many of you are crazy enough to believe that the banks are going to actually surrender to a cryptocurrency that they can't control? When they control the infrastructure, they control the mortgages, the mortgage rates, they buy from the government, they're the boss of the bosses, they're conducting things. And yes, crypto's coming, but if you think they don't have a hand in it and they want it to be the Wild West where they can't control it, think again. So that's why I said you better go with some players that are going to secure that stuff and be responsible and accountable. So you can go up there and have your story that, you know what, you done bought Bitcoin for $1,000. Now it's 40,000. Oh my God, what did I miss out on? People are going to say, well, wait, what's it tied to? You know, sure, crypto's the future, but what's it tied to? Make sure you're not just floating out there and putting money out there, but what's it tied to? Like, I don't even understand half about this crypto. And things I don't understand, I don't invest in. And that's what I'm going to tell you people. Don't put your money in things you don't understand. Like, even when it comes to investing, Walmart, I understand. People are there all the time. It ain't going nowhere. I put my money in Walmart. I don't care if I get 5 to 7%. It's compound interest. Stop looking at the 5%. What is going to be the same in 10 years? That's what you put your money in. Not what's going to be different, the latest, the greatest. People are ignorant. They don't even understand. They're just guessing. There's nothing to guess, right? What is going to be here? What's been here, but what's going to be here for the next 10 years? And don't buy things you don't understand. People got to eat, yes, but what are they eating? Food. So obviously you're going to have to go in where people are investing in food production. So which companies are producing food to feed the masses? Which ones are sustainable? Which ones have been in the game? Do you understand? So that's why I said only invest in what you understand. And then your investment portfolio should only be like when you have a portfolio, a finance portfolio, see, you should have like maybe, okay, let's think of the 100% of where you're going to invest your money. Okay, I'm going to break it down like this. For investing, I would say in stocks and commodities, I'd say 15%. For investing in real estate, I would say 30%. Okay? Right? So long-term investment, which are mediaries, which is like financial institutions, banks, and things like that, I would give that like another 25%. Okay? Think about that. These institutions that, you know, they got everybody's mortgage, they're going to make money. And you heard it before this. It's funny. Don't you think it's kind of funny that prior to the pandemic, we used to hear about these big banks reporting every quarter, oh, they're making 1.7 billion. But since the pandemic, you're not hearing them. You're not hearing them. But they're still making money, but they're not telling you that because you might wake up and go, wait, the government ain't got no money. Why ain't these people paying their share? Why aren't they paying to help? We're all supposed to be, isn't it supposed to be a democracy? Well, it's obviously not. And they ain't advertising their profits because why? Because they don't want the people to wake up and go, wait, you're going to pay and you're going to take care of what you got to take because you're making money off of us. Right? So anyway, so we got a 15, we got a 30, we got a 25%, right? And the remainder, right? Think about that, should be investing in yourself. Right? Think about that. You got your real estate. You got your long-term, solid commitments. You got your commodities. You got your stocks, your index funds, whatever. That's a smaller percentage, right? And then you got those institutions that are just there and they're going to make you money no matter what because they're there. It's part of the infrastructure. And then investing in yourself, something that you're doing that's going to make money, whether you're working a job or creating other work. That should be the other portion. So you should only have certain percentages of your investment out there, right? So when I mean investing in yourself, what are you going to do? Educating in yourself to keep things moving, to keep things growing. And basically, I believe that is serving the human race. And if you really learn to serve the human race, you will not only embrace people who want to do better and support people, because I really believe that's what we should be doing. We should be making sure, and you can make, if you're worried about money, that's not even 1/10 of the game. think about serving your fellow human being by providing housing or providing services for them and teaching them and reaching them and educating them, and then they enrich your life and it just keeps growing. And it's not about just about profit. It's just about you understanding you're there to serve and you will do it no matter what. When you go to serve, you will get what you deserve. But a lot of people are too busy, me, I. You can be the best, you can make some money, but if you can educate and bring people on board to see what you're seeing to help them grow, you're going to grow and they're going to grow with you. And there's so much work to do out there. You don't need to invent, you just need to take it upon yourself to get that leadership inside of you, to understand that you could do a lot of things. One of the most frustrating things is when we're trying to find jobs. And I'm talking about, listen, I'm going to talk a little bit about people of color, people, different ethnicities, people who are having difficulties finding work out there. And I know it's not easy because it's a real deal. And of people who are the disenfranchised. All I'm going to say to you is one of the biggest frustrations is when you're trying to get a job and you see that somebody's not giving you, go in here, and you keep trying and it's hard, and this, it just seems like the world is on your shoulders. And I think sometimes through that pain, what we need to do is we need to try and say, okay, wait, maybe this is a sign that I can try and do something myself. Maybe if I have a car, okay, I'm going to give you a simple one. If I have a car, okay, I could go out there and provide a service for myself, where I'm helping my fellow human being get from to and from here. I don't need a license to do that. I'm trying to get hired by Uber or whatever, and they're not calling me back, or Amazon. Maybe I could do something for myself to get that going. And then I will not only provide that. See, we can't see past step one. That's what's getting me. We've been so programmed and conditioned, and it's everywhere. The psychology, people are so smart in schools and institutions that they teach us to think certain ways. And sometimes the real wealthy people say the longer you're in, the worse it is for you, because your brain doesn't function with open thoughts. It's closed. You only see this because you're taught to see this. You only go in that direction because you're pointed in that direction. But when you can open up your eyes and say, listen, it isn't working. I'm going to this man here. So when I don't get what I get there, I get frustrated and then I start acting out. I'm saying, yes, you could get frustrated, but sometimes start to pick up a paintbrush, pick up some paint, get busy, get in there, knock on some doors, do what you got to do, and start somewhere. Or go in there face to face, start doing the work. Or provide a service. Or you're good, everybody's good at something. You might be good at sitting on the couch, babysit. You might be good at talking, sell something. Get in there and do something. Start working it out. You might have to work some bad jobs, but if you get the feeling it ain't for you, work it out. Work with people who are doing. See, people who are want to get into business, and this is what I find about young people. A lot of young people are sitting up there, you could go online and, everybody start a business. Next thing you know, I know this girl that started this fashion industry. She started online. Now she's a millionaire. Or I know this person that started this and that. Listen, yes, do that. I'm not saying don't do that. But what I am saying is if you are going to do that, get a mentor. Get somebody who's doing it, who's walking the walk. Get somebody who knows what's going on, who's actually doing it. Like a lot of people, look, I emailed them, they don't get back to me. Knock on the door. Because I'm not going to waste my time. See, a lot of people who are making money and making wealth don't want to waste their time with people who get their feelings hurt, who aren't going to listen, who ain't going to follow what they do. Because they're busy, they're operating, they're doing things. And they only want people who want to come around, who are actually going to stick around, learn something, and benefit them. And the one question the counselor says to everybody, that everybody who's sitting at that table is always going to ask yourself one thing: what's in it for me? I don't care where you're at. I don't care if you're in a social meeting, if you're in a foster care meeting. I don't care if you're in a bank asking for a loan. I don't care if you're trying to get approved for a loan or if you're doing a business proposal. Everybody's asking, what's in it for me? And if you can understand that and you could supply them and make sure that they're taken care of and understand that they got wants and needs as well, once you understand that, you're really doing well. A lot of people are too busy going into it going me, 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 me. But what you got to understand, if I'm sitting here asking for a loan, those people got to know before I even walk in there. Some of you are walking in the meetings going, well, I don't know if they're going to accept me for this loan. Ask yourself one question. What's in it for them? A bank don't want to give you $30,000 if they ain't gonna make no money. Well, you got, you working, you have all this debt. What's in it for them? Make sure when you go in there, you got something for them. Well, you know what? Me and my wife are only making this amount of money. However, we have a renter, and that's going to supplement so that I can pay back this loan, so you can make more money for your bank. You understand what's in it for them? So there's so much that we could talk about, and I love talking about this stuff because I love people, and I love people to learn and work together to advance themselves and to take opportunities when they can and be positive. Okay, there's so many things that you could be positive about. Sure, you're going to have your negative, but you can do it. And I want to say that we just went through part 2, real well part 2, and I got to do real well part 3 because we're going to get down to the nitty gritty. I'm going to hit you with some steps and some strategies that are going to work for you. So I want you to be like the wise old bird and spread the word. Take care of yourself, people, because we got to talk.